Well, hello to everybody here. It's Teresa Sanderson, and today we're talking about how to prevent the next generation of nurses from eating their young. All right. This is vitally important information right now because we really are in a crisis with nurses wanting to leave the workforce. So, as you're joining me today, please feel free to say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching me on the replay, please comment #replay. And I love to connect with all of you. But this is really important stuff today. How do we prevent the next generation of nurses from eating their young? What can we do that is different that might inspire nurses to elevate nursing culture and to recognize how much we need our new nurses and to treat them like diamonds to be polished when they come into our units. So that's what I want to share with you a little bit about today. I want to chat with you about that because this is really, really important. For me, I experienced the idea or the feeling of nurses eating their young before I even graduated nursing school. I remember feeling like the staff nurses at the units where we were doing our clinical rotations really didn't necessarily like us there, didn't value our presence, didn't, kind of felt like we were in the way. And, it was a terrible, terrible feeling. And as a new nurse, I remember asking veteran nurses, hey, I'm having a little trouble with this. I can't find this. I don't really know how to do this. And being told, just the eye rolling, well, nobody showed me how to do that. Why would I show you? Tough stuff, right? And so with that with the lack of support that happens to a lot of nurses, whether they're new nurses or just a new nurse, maybe a seasoned nurse working in a new environment, there is kind of a hazing that can go on where nurses just tend to be very, very mean-spirited toward the new nurses. And while we're the first to say, we're short-staffed, we need help, we can't continue to work like this, when new people come in, when new nurses are hired, they get treated this way. And so it's such a vicious cycle. And in my mind, I see this as a generational cycle, like almost you would experience in a family, that this is the kind of thing we've just always done. It's always been this way. This is what people expect it to be like. And so this is going to continue. So how can we stop this cycle? How can we interrupt it? How can we disrupt it to where we might try something new? Okay. And that's where this new movement called Nurses Feed Their Young comes in, because I really believe that nurses in their heart of hearts really care. They really care and they really want to do a good job, but they're also tired. And so given the fact that, as I said, this is a decades long, I'm a 31-year veteran RN. And so I've seen this every year of my career, and even before I graduated as a nurse and before I was licensed. So this is a decades long problem, long before I entered the workforce. I'm sure it was already there. And so how do we change this? I think we need to create some kind of interruption that will allow us to elevate nursing. And what I recommend is that the Nurses Feed Their Young movement is a movement that's all about infusing emotional intelligence into the everyday skill set of nursing leaders and nurses. And there's a special way that we go about doing that. But when we can increase every nurse's emotional intelligence, then we have people who are communicating with each other in a way that is respectful, in a way that is meaningful, in a way that everyone feels like they're heard, and to where we come to the table with a mission to understand. And if we can begin to communicate in that way with each other as nurses, whether we are nurse to nurse, nursing supervisor to nurse, even nurse to patient, nurse to physician, physician to nurse, all of these things, when we can begin to communicate with emotional intelligence, we show up as our best selves. So even though we're tired, even though we're, short-staffed and we're tired of being short-staffed and we're frustrated, with emotional intelligence, we learn how to leave those things aside when it comes to having a personal interaction with someone else. And this is a skill that is very, very important. It's important today. It's going to be more important as time goes on, because I don't know that the world will ever return to a pre-pandemic norm, right? We are living in a very changed world. And people in general have a very short fuse. And we've seen this show up in different ways, whether it's workplace violence, sadly, whether it's things like increases in school shootings, all of these things. But I know that there has been an increase in nurses being injured on the job from workplace violence, whether that is from patients and families, other staff, whatever, but something's got to give. And so that's what Nurses Feed Their Young is all about. So I want to invite you, if you are interested, if you are passionate about making a change for the better for nursing, for future generations to be able to step in and be able to come into the work environment and really feel like they have a place, feel like they are cared for, that they are nurtured. And even for the nurses that we have right now, if we can turn this on for them so that they can experience a sense of being valued, a sense of really being listened to and being heard, I think this would just totally change the culture of nursing. We would elevate the culture of nursing to have a much more positive culture in the workplace. So I want to invite you to join me to a free information session. It's going to come up on Thursday evening. Just click the link above this video. Go ahead and join me for one of those. I would love to have you learn more about the movement. There's 3 different ways to be involved. And we need every nurse who's passionate about this to dive in and be a supporter of Nurses Feed Their Young so that we can change the face of the culture of nursing around the world. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you soon. Bye.